I'm here with actor Chris Warren, who is currently starring on Grand Hotel. Before we talk a little bit about the show, let's talk a little bit about when you first decided you wanted to become an actor. I know you moved out to LA at a pretty young age.
Yeah, I moved out to LA when I was about 5 with my parents, and they wanted to act, so I kind of just followed in their footsteps. And as I became older, I really developed an actual love for it myself. And it's kind of crazy looking back on it now. It's like I've been doing it my whole life, but I'm very grateful that I was set up in that way.
And you booked your first film role right around maybe a year later after your mom booked her long-running role?
Yeah, I booked really the first, my first film, Men of Honor, when I was 9. So in 1999. Wow. So yeah, that was my first thing, and then doing that and being a part of something like that, being on that set with George Tillman and Cuba Gooding Jr. was such an eye-opening thing. I was so young, but it really set me up for everything that was to come.
Mm-hmm. Did it help having a mom that was in the entertainment industry and filming? She was filming a soap opera at the time, right?
Yeah, that actually showed me another side of things as well. You work as an actor, you're on set, but also she's a part of the show and she's working every day as an actor. Most actors are auditioning and you're hoping for a role. She literally every day, Monday through Friday, like a regular job, was going to WB Studios, and I would go with her, and she had her little dressing room and everything. So for me, acting was so much more normal than everyone else. It really was a 9 to 5 that you could have. She was on that show for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's 12 years of a 9 to 5 job. So to me, acting was never this leap of faith thing. It was, all right, so that's what you do. You go and you do it and you make a living at it. So again, I think it was a blessing to start so early because my feet were already wet.
Yeah. And after wrapping that film, you went on tour with Lion King, correct?
Yes, I did that film when I was 9, and I did a couple other things in film and TV, and then I did the national tour of Lion King when I was 11, turning 12.
What was that like, going across the country at such a young age?
Again, it was such a surreal thing, especially looking back on it. So many memories, but you're so young at the time that I feel like you can't even really grasp what's actually happening.
Right.
But it was so surreal. But being able to be a part of that national tour and kick off that tour like that, to meet Julie Taymor and to kind of see again up close what it's like to run a Broadway show, or these dancers, or these people that live these day-to-day lives of going from show to show. The grind that goes into these different things, it was to see that on a film level and then on a stage level at the highest level. Again, it was like knowing exactly what it takes to really do this.
Were there any nerves involved, being that you were going to be in a live show and it's a little different than film and television?
I think ignorance is bliss a little bit when
Yeah.
you're that young. I started realizing the gravity of it when I would hear my dad talk about it to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, oh, maybe I should be like more scared, but I think there's one other person playing young Simba and 2 people playing Nala, so there's basically 4 12-year-olds and then everyone else is adults. So you're really in this little bubble. So for us, it was like, this is what you do. Oh, it's your turn to go perform. Cool, okay, it's your turn. So the pressure really never got to me until I looked back on it and I was like, oh wow, that was pretty cool I did that. But at the time, ignorance was kind of bliss.
You were also part of the phenomena that is High School Musical.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't even have thought of that when you were first filming it, right? That it was going to blow up to be what it was.
No, not at all. When we first did that, it was a made-for-TV movie. And as we were shooting it, one of my favorite Disney movies before that was Hocus Pocus. So I was excited to be a part of it just because of Kenny Ortega. But as we were shooting it, a lot of people involved and some of the parents of other people were like, it seems really special. And we're like, it seems cool. Like, this guy's Zach is cool, this person Vanessa, all these people seem great. And then next thing you know, it becomes this thing. So that, again, was a cool ride to see it from the beginning and then see how that transformed so many things. Just really grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah, and what was that like, being thrust into the spotlight like that in such a high level of, being the opportunities that were being presented?
Yeah, that was very interesting. I think I benefited from doing a couple things as a kid, so being thrust in different ways, I was used to that. But this was on such a huge scale that it was unlike anything I'd experienced before. But I felt a bit like I had my feet wet already, so it didn't take me as off guard, I think, as some other people it might have. But also, I still was in regular school. A lot of actor friends that I had that age, homeschooled. It was
Right.
either you're an actor or you're regular. There's no in between. I liked that I still was going to regular school. I was playing football. I was completely living a normal life. And then over the summer, I would go and shoot one of the High School Musical movies. So I think that helped me stay humble a bit. All my friends from school were like, "You're just the guy that's number 34 in football. You're not
Right, right.
Zeke
You're
to
not-
me."
yeah, you're not football
So
special, right?
it kind of kept me level-headed, having this kind of double life. But to me, it never was that. It was a great thing to be a part of, but it never encompassed me like that.
Do you feel that living that normal life and going to a regular high school helped you even to where you are today, just having a more well-rounded experience and just having the acting roles kind of like a job like anybody else would have?
It's interesting because at the time, I think when I was a freshman in high school, I resented it a little bit. So I was like, why am I going to school? With all my friends that act don't go to school. I should be
Right.
going homeschooling. And then as I got older and I got to play football, I got to do all of these things, I realized what a blessing that was, because I think there's some normalcy that comes with that. There's some being around people that aren't doing the same thing you're doing. When you're in LA and you're an actor, you're in a bubble, especially if you're a child actor, an even smaller bubble.
Right.
So being the normalcy of being around everyday people, being around people that are really going to school, the people that actually watch the things that you're in, that was very helpful for me. Once I graduated, I was like, oh, I'm really, really glad that I got to feel what that's like to really be a part of normal society, I guess.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that. High school.
You also went on to star and recur on The Fosters.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was most proud of, because, you know, High School Musical was an amazing experience, and all the other things we listed, I was a child. I was 9, I was 15 when I did High School Musical. By the time I did the third one, I was only 17. So everything I'd done was as a child, and everything everyone had seen me do was as a child. So there was a bit of trying to get out of that mold. By the time you're 22, 23, you're like, all right, I'm not really a child anymore.
Right.
But I couldn't really grow facial hair at the time, and still going out for roles that are 18. This is pretty new.
That's
This is-
yeah.
I'm
The blessing
trying to
and
rock
curse,
it.
right?
But I still was, all my roles were 18, 19, so I was stuck in that playing high school up until I was about 25, which is around the time I got the Fosters. That role still was 19, so that for me was at least going a little bit older, but it more so was the material was older. I was playing an older foster kid of my younger brother. I didn't like that he was being fostered by a white cop. There were deeper issues being dealt with than, you know, people singing in high school. So it was great for me to have that tape and to experience that and be a part of something that was a bit more grounded. And I think that was instrumental in leading to Grand Hotel.
Yeah. Do you think that being on The Fosters matured you, or you were already mature enough to play what you were being given?
I think at that point in my career, I was already mature enough. I think I had been getting myself ready, and I was ready at that point. And then it was a blessing that the Fosters came at that point. So it really kind of coincided at the same time. And then that really got the ball rolling for me. And really, also, it's a confidence booster. If you can think a lot of things, but until you really go do it, it's not real. So once I was able to actually put it out there and really do it and see it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's confirmed then, it gave me a new level of confidence as an adult as opposed to as a child.
And now you're currently on Grand Hotel. I think
Yeah.
you started off the interview as Jason. Kind of, I know it's a little early in the season, so we don't know your true character
Right.
motivations, but he seems to be the good guy in the group.
Yeah.
Is that how he was described to you when you were pitched the role?
Yeah. I believe it was, you know, has a big heart, he's loyal, and he's very kind. And when you read the pilot, you get that and you see that. And I think the one thing I was worried about was that being a one-note thing, is that I'm just this nice guy, that there's nothing else to that. And I was so pleased with Eva and Brian Tannen and everyone at Grand Hotel with the way they developed Jason, because it starts one way, and then a lot of things happen to him and to everyone around him,
Yeah.
to where he has to become his own man, and where we discover a lot of things where it's not so cut and dry as you think that it is. So very excited about this role.
And he's got quite a tough mom on that show.
Yeah.
She's a piece of work.
Yeah, she's a little bit. Yeah, she's a lot to deal with for Jason. But I like that dynamic. Not only is it a family dynamic, which I think for his character is a big part of why he's still there. He wants to help support his family. But I think it also brings some levity and some comedy to it as well, of that he's trying to be his own adult, whether it's in friendships or in relationships, and he's got this constant thing over his shoulder. So as the season progresses, we dive more into that as well.
And now you're working with a primarily younger cast. Did you guys all bond, and did that make it easier that you kind of were all in the same age range?
Yeah, Eva did a great job of that as well, of kind of getting us all together in different scenarios. But there's Damien and Rosalind, who are the two really leads, and we really kind of look up to both of them because they're both so accomplished already. And then there's like the rest of us, and it's been really fun being a part of a cast like this, because High School Musical was one thing, it's a big cast, so it was fun being a part of a big cast and being like, wow, this is special.
Mm-hmm.
But now as an adult, being a part of the same thing, and we're all in the same playing field in the sense of we're all hungry and we're young and we've been doing it, but we want to do it, really do it, and I think that hunger and that drive and all of us being in the same kind of position, I think it really bonded us together because we all want it so bad. And you can kind of feel that in the show because everybody wants it, and I think that has been really the main component in it doing well and the product that we put out.
What's something you can tease coming up for Jason without getting yourself in trouble? You've already got knocked out once. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to get knocked out again. Something I can tease. I know we have some cool guest stars coming onto the show. We have Katie Seagal coming into the show in a couple episodes. She's on there for a while, and I was a huge fan of her, so I'm excited about that. And Jason has been having some trouble with his love life, it seems, and it seems like he finally has some success in his love life area as the season goes on. So I'll just leave
Take
it at
that there.
Yeah, I'll just leave it
very good
at that.
And now you're also working on a project that you were hoping to develop into a series, right?
Yes. I produced an indie film called Nice Iranian Girl with my wife, and it's actually based on her life. And we got a lot of good feedback on it, and we really were happy with the project. And it was such an eye-opening experience being on that side of things, actually seeing what it takes to really get a cast together, to get locations, to get cameras, to do all of those things. I'm used to just showing up on set and just saying words. I've never had to actually do all the other work.
Right.
So that was an eye-opening experience for us. But given how well that it did and how happy we were with it, we wanted to expound on it. And now we're in the process of getting a script done, and we're going to develop it into a series. So I'm very excited about getting on this side of things as well.
And now working with your wife full time.
And now that as well. It's an added bonus.
Good. Good comment. She's feeding you lines over here.
Yeah, she's over here.
So, what else do you have going on? What are you doing for the summer? Are you just going to kind of chill out while you wait to hear about a second season?
Yeah, I think I just want to relax and hang out with my beautiful wife over there, and just relax and watch the show and see how it does and see how people respond to it, and just enjoy the summer.
Yeah, you also do some charitable work. I know around the holidays you do some work with the homeless.
Yeah, I actually when I started talking to my beautiful wife over here.
He's really trying.
Well, I don't want to be disingenuous because
right.
When I met her, that's what got me into it, because she was already doing that, and she was like, I'm going down to volunteer, if you want to come. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I want to come because you're going, but you think you're a good person and you think you're something until you encounter someone that actually does literally go downtown to cut up potatoes for hours and then give it to homeless people. And that was it was a really humbling thing to actually do that, because that's really what you do. You go down there, and I didn't know what to expect, and we went down there and they had us cut potatoes. They needed someone to cut potatoes, and we cut potatoes and we served the homeless. And you think it sounds simple, but just doing that kind of menial task and then seeing all these people in a situation that's so different from anything you actually see up close, was very, very humbling.
A menial task to you, but then to them it's like,
exactly,
this person is saving my life.
Yeah, by
in a manner of speaking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What other kind of roles are you interested in playing? Especially in this day and age where you can come up with your own projects and distribute them.
Yeah, I think in the future I would love to take the platform of producing and then be able to produce things for myself of roles I want to play. But I would love to play. I really love dark stuff. You know, I like dark movies. I like dark shows. I like things that make people feel things, even if it's making someone feel uncomfortable, making someone feel sad, whatever it is.
Right.
I like that. So I would love to play a drug addict. I'd love to play anything. I'd love to play something I can really dive into, you know? So I'm looking forward to whatever doors are open with Grand Hotel. I'm looking forward to whatever I can do myself and produce myself, but I'm just excited for the future.
Is Grand Hotel potentially going to come back in the fall, or are they going to keep it a summer type series?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I'm excited to see what happens with that as well. I have no idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet up with me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very
and,
much.
Look forward to more fun stuff ahead for Jason.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
Without being knocked out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to stay conscious.
Thank you again.
Thank you.